Okay. Bathroom break completed. Let's go check out the other ending. Game just calls you like, hey, you want to see what the other ending was? You know, maybe play the real outro, or it probably has an escape sequence or a boss fight or something, you know, instead of being frustrating and incomplete sounding. Oh, this is gameplay. I was waiting for the cutscene to progress towards him.
Leon.
All right. Release Elpis.
Please know that you are my hope.
She is my hope. A blind hope.
Okay.
Hope.
This is it.
The secret password was just what Elpis translates to, basically? Wait, no one could figure that out? I mean, I guess they couldn't check. You only had one shot.
What are you doing, Grace?
Spencer regretted what he did. He...
Well done.
Is it the cure?
You promised.
Yes, that I would let him live. Mr. Kennedy, I give you the honor of experiencing my power firsthand.
I'm not sure Elpis is what you think it is. There's nothing special about me. I was never any key. Spencer wanted to make amends. He...
But you released Elpis. What is it? Tell me!
He's just some guy now.
Leon!
Why? My power!
He just cured the
Elpis
T
is
virus.
Spencer's atonement. It's an antiviral.
Oh, he's still alive.
Amazing. I am humbled by my master's genius.
Master
Your
Spencer,
research
not
was
Xeno.
wrong. Elpis wasn't a weapon. There was never a key.
Spencer's paper was obviously incomplete. There was no connection between Grace and Emily.
Do you know how much time and money I wasted on this?
Don't you see the genius? With Elpis, all virus-based weapons are useless. The world order will be thrown into chaos.
We wanted a weapon.
Instead, Spencer gave us anarchy. I will carry his torch and bring his vision to life.
You. You and Spencer were a means to an end.
Yet he outwitted you all.
Spencer defied us and paid the price with his life. He was nothing.
You are nothing but an imitation.
Oh!
It's over, Victor. The Connections is done with you.
We can't let him have it.
Uh-oh.
Your ignorance is staggering.
It's a cure. Oh, it's working. Leon, it's working. Wake up.
Now, let it all come down. All of it.
Grace, what happened?
A lot happened.
It's gonna go! Grab something! Grace. Grace!
It's conspicuous shotgun ammo in the cutscene. So he was in fact not gone.
His last skeleton.
I had the right instinct. He is the more interesting villain, so he's ultimately the one you actually deal with at the end. They are just like, that guy is supposed to be an embarrassing Wesker douchebag copy that gets ultimately dismissed so easily after all of his triad bullshit. He was still acting like he was a means to an end. He's nothing. You're nothing. And it's like, you don't have powers anymore, bud. You just injected this thing blindly without even checking what it was, and you thought it was your ascension, and it just made you a normal human again, and you got decapitated immediately. That's the end of your legacy. That's all you were. Oh my goodness. You just had a big gun that made big blood splatter, and you probably didn't even make that. Someone else made that. Anyway. Uh-oh. Why don't we just be friends? Ow.
And how many more will have to die for that vision?
Do you even have a weak spot? Is there a way to fight you? Ow.
Nuisance.
Ow.
Sacrifices must be made.
Okay, that looked like it hurt.
Grand scheme of things.
So I do hit F, not E. Or not click.
Protect those lives.
Is he vulnerable right now? No, he's having a freak out. He's got so many little baby arms. He's got a cool design. Oh. What you doing? Do I shoot that? Nope, that's just a weird baby. Oh, he's getting stronger. Uh-oh. That's bad. That fucking... Uh-oh! I wish I had a dodge roll for moments like that. Ah! Oh my god. What do you do in moments like that? You can barely move. We're such a slow, sad little guy.
Seems you're reaching your limit.
Oh god, move. Jesus. Am I supposed to shoot something else? That thing? No?
I will not let those ideals win. Give it up.
Oh, 9 more rifle ammo. Neat. Is this doing anything? We are in peak does my gun even work mode. I guess that counted as a parry. Oh, I guess it was doing something.
It's over. Good riddance.
If he gets back up, I'm pulling the Requiem out. There he is. Ah, so he's tall and a doctor.
nemesis. No wonder you're so damn relentless.
Oh my god, he's like a necromorph level of like fucked up, just random noisy gore. Ow. Ow. Am I running up on something? Oh god. Okay. Might have been a waste of the Requiem after all this time. These might blow up extremely quickly, actually. Ah! Is he attacking still? No? Ow. Okay, they're different colors, and the different colors are different levels of hard to get. Ow, my health bar. Oh no, I have no healing items. Can I craft one? No. Okay, time to play perfectly. It apparently worked. Why isn't it working? We good? Oh! Was I supposed to do something? Uh-oh. No, 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 dun, 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 Jaeger. The Requiem's absurd in these cutscenes.
This time, you ain't getting back up.
The idea that he's fought these things so much he can even tell when they're gonna actually finally die. It seems like his gun was similarly bullshit to the other guys.
Grace, where are you?
So the other guy basically had a Requiem.
Sherry, come in. Sherry. Shit. Grace.
Grace, hang on. Fuck. Grace. Grace.
Leon.
We need to get you out of here. Come on. Let's get you out.
There's no way out, is there?
Well, I'm not gonna leave your side.
I'm gonna sit right here with you.
Oh, that's grim.
I guess this is it then.
Is it Chris?
Leon S. Kennedy?
Depends who's asking.
Alpha, you read me, sir? Yeah, they're safe. I got them. Yes, sir. Mr. Kennedy, I have a message from Captain Redfield.
Kind of. Is there any kind of epilogue, or is it the ending? It's loading, which does seem like more than just credits. Yep.
I'll be damned. Can't believe that antiviral actually worked. Feel better than I have in ages.
Oh, thank God. I'm glad you're okay.
We got a dose with your name on it. We'll be back in action in no time.
Thank you, Leon.
Would have been a lot smoother if Chris hadn't been so late to the party.
Where is Chris, anyway?
No idea. I'm sure I'll run into him at some point. Yeah, I'll call you back.
They gotta figure out how to mass produce that thing. It might even be able to bring back zombies.
Yeah. Elpis really was our last hope.
Oh, it's pray Umbrella hasn't left us any more nasty surprises.
I wish we could have saved Emily.
Grace, I didn't hit any of her vitals. She could still be alive.
What are you saying?
Maybe we can save her.
She was alive the whole time? Leon's so crazy he can tell whether or not he's killing a zombie monster or
The
not?
government has confirmed the existence of an actively trading bioweapons lab located here in the ruins of Raccoon City. The origin point for the worldwide spread of bioorganic weapons. This illegal facility appears to have been in operation for decades.
Sources say that the extension of the lockdown and the recent series of mysterious deaths may be related to tragic events in Raccoon City 28 years ago.
Evidence seized in Raccoon City has led the Justice Department to reopen its investigation into Oswald Spencer and the long-defunct Umbrella Corporation. Some believe the government deliberately drove Umbrella into bankruptcy.
The late Alyssa Ashcroft is credited with cracking the Oswald Spencer story. Conspiracy theorists are already claiming that she was killed in a cover-up, and that the organization responsible is secretly controlling our government.
Tonight, in a speech from the Oval Office, the president is expected to reject allegations of any government involvement since the Raccoon City incident.
These are really uncanny, creepy-looking reporters. That's just not... There's something really unnerving about how all their shading works. The killer in studio lighting. Oh, she's in a gross gremlin's cocoon. Oh, that looked like the horrible eggs the gremlins are born out of.
Cold rain seeps to my soul. Old can't shut them out? What if I had reached out to you? I wouldn't have walked alone. Fighting the darkness, holding me, dragging me to the ground, facing the pain that's controlling me. I won't let it keep me down. I'll make it through to the other side. Scarred hands, tired and worn, warmth of a new dawn on my face. I'll never let it go again.
Cold rain seeps to my soul. Old wounds I can't forget. Night steals away my sight. Screams I can't shut them out. What if I had reached out to you? I wouldn't have walked alone.
Fighting the darkness, holding me, dragging me to the ground, facing the pain that's controlling me. I won't let it keep me down. I'll make it through to the other side. Scarred hands, tired and worn, warmth of a new dawn on my face. I'll never let it go again. Touch grasping hands, crawling up from the ground, sights on the sky, a new day breaks, it lights the way, a new day breaks, it lights the way.
Said the girl was played by BB. It's just the name BB. I usually wait for the lyric songs to end and credits before I try to talk again because it's just so speech jamming to hear another voice the whole time. So now I'm wondering, like, so many voice actors, because all the different localizations. They're probably going to have to define more clearly in future games now, like, who gets cured by Elpis? What forms of infection, what forms of bioweapons, which specific things work? What's wild about it is that they basically had a Wesker stand-in purely to show us how easily Wesker's defeated by Elpis. Like, they just inserted a thing that removes Wesker-type villains from the setting, functionally, because of how easy they are to cure from the T-virus. Because it was like crazy T-virus stuff that made him do that, as far as I'm aware. Now we have a cure for Chris and Sherry, and presumably every other survivor from the base game, from the previous games, and any, like, random people that we don't know the names of that were also there, and so on. I assume they're going to mass produce it and figure out how to create more of it. It's not going to just be like a handful of shots. I'm trying to remember what exactly that guy's plan was, because it was like we we turned on him. Well, we didn't turn on, we were never on his team. But like the villain shows up and then it became a fight and I was like, huh. But aren't you in favor of this being used? This thing that will wipe out all of his work, essentially? He made a cure for it. Aren't we? Feels like we'd be aligned there, but maybe I'm missing the nuance there in the chaos, because a lot happened. And yeah, I guess the ultimate use... It was... The Requiem was useful against the final boss, because all those big blobs that don't die instantly did die instantly. So that was pretty quick work of the final boss blob. But otherwise, depending on how easy they might be to take out, it might be that the best use of Requiem as Leon is just to take out all the lickers in that big final fight, because it's something that could do enough damage to probably wipe them out, but you don't have to aim down scope like I was or deal with some of that stuff. It's a little hard to come up with when the best time is to use that weapon. I think I ended up using it a fair bit against Mr. X. Which made sense for me, because that's the most direct boss fight, sort of, in the game. It's pretty funny watching him fuck with all the cars, and how the cars so consistently always landed wheel side down and would roll around, but they're also running out of space for where to go. So the fact that they're being thrown around meant that they had like a sort of a behavior algorithm of where they should land and how to like make them settle. And they were kind of all settling in the next like available open piece of parking lot, like a bunch of marbles that are all like flattening out. A surreal sequence. Very cool game. Like usual, my favorite part was the mansion, and all the escalations and more linear bits afterwards were a bit less immediately interesting. As far as the Leon Raccoon City segment goes, there was some fun to be had there. It was definitely a bit like a lot of modern AAA games that like God of War and whatnot, where it's like here is a series of hubs with a specific dynamic. Like there's a very like particular vibe to that whole thing that's like very familiar to a lot of AAA design that makes it a little samey. Even the parts about shooting things down and so on, but a lot of the level design is really on point. A lot of really interesting stuff going on there. The glass mechanic is disappointing. Now that I've beaten the game, I now know that the shooting windows out mechanic that has a dedicated tutorial and everything never comes up again. So I'm just not sure what they're going for there. Like a similar thing shows up at one point in Walking Dead, Dead City, which is a terrible name for a show. The fact that the word dead happens twice in a row in the title, why would you name it that? There's so many things you could call the spin-off of Walking Dead that takes place in New York that don't involve having to call it Dead City. Including City of the Dead. But also like maybe a New York word? Maybe anything like that? But there's a part in that show where there's two skyscrapers and then there's a fallen over tower that's pinned between two of the skyscrapers, and it's window side down, if I remember correctly. It actually might have even just been a hallway that was designed to have a glass floor, but maybe not. Either way, there's something bridging two buildings that has a glass floor one way or the other. And it becomes a threat of like what to deal with them. Like the more zombies group up, the more it might crack and be ready to fall. Just the usual scares about glass and so on that you see sometimes, like I think in Jurassic Park or stuff like that. But like it was a linear hallway, which made some kind of sense, because like if there was a straight hallway, then you could potentially shoot different panels out and plan around that. You don't want it to be completely linear. Oop.
And Sherry's okay? Oh, good. I'm so glad. Emily, yeah, she's doing great. I'm actually teaching her how to read.
Grace. Where's that report?
Sorry. Leon, gotta go. Catch up soon.
She's alive. And she's been upgraded to a teddy bear instead of a terrifying raccoon. More epilogues. BSAA. What happened there?
Remaining BSAA forces have been neutralized. Retrieving the objective before they send in the wolves.
That's not supposed to happen. But yeah, like, I can imagine there being like a sort of like long hallway that has like a grid of squares of glass on the floor, and you can strategically shoot the glass out from under various zombies while trying to maintain a path to be able to continue and so on. It's just very weird that they introduced that mechanic. It's in a giant, huge grid of space, and intuitively you would think, I'm gonna get ahead of this. I'm gonna run past the zombies, then aim back and shoot the glass so that they can't follow me. But then you run into that zone and there's nowhere to go. There's actually no destination. Like the usual intuitive level design says that you go behind. You go to the back or whatever's hard to reach or wherever the level's shaped like it's going. It's super weird that instead the ramp to leave the place is 5 feet away from where you start and the rest of the room is just wasted space. And that's not like an iteration on the idea. That's not a specific like they didn't keep doing glass rooms across that building and then have that specific version happen. That was the only room like that. And then it never happened again. Very weird. Might as well have cut the entire mechanic and not bothered with it. If it was going to have to be introduced, it'd be so unintuitive, have so many weird ways of instantly failing. Because like they were collapsing the entire floor because I had made it impossible to reach the destination. But like you have to finish the fight in order to be able to tell where to even go half the time. So just very weird implementation in a game that was so on top of so many other concepts. That's weird that the glass tower thing was so undercooked and poorly implemented when it was used and so on. But anyway, otherwise a very solid game. Had a lot of time, a lot of fun with a lot of it. It did kind of peak for me with the mansion, and the basement was pretty good. Both parts of it too, like playing as Grace and as Leon. But I wasn't so crazy about... I wasn't totally crazy about the Leon segment in the second half, and this mansion and so on at the end was like... It was just a bit less interesting, but that's usually what happens in all these games, is that you kind of have like the more action-oriented bit, and the lab is almost never as interesting as the cool, themed, like, classic building you had, which we've now done a few mansions. We've done, including one mansion twice at one point. We've done a strange police department run by an eccentric. We've done now an asylum, a care facility. That almost seems inevitable, honestly, and now it has happened. Grace's report has been added. Hope and Requiem. See, I gotta wonder what this means for the setting. Content. Trusted companion charm Leo. Defeat 300 enemies. 200 CP. Raccoon Roundup map Rhodes Hill. Huh. And these are just a bunch of crazy things you can get for everybody. Let's see. Oh yeah, Raccoon Roundup for Raccoon City. Might as well just get that map, I guess. FBI attire for Grace. RPD. Yeah, you can put Leon in his old outfit. Advanced tuning. Extra level of tuning for weapon parts. The ability to get... you destroy every single Mr. Raccoon, so I'm missing 2 of them. So if you get all of them, you get an extra level of being able to upgrade every weapon. At that point, it just makes you comically strong, I guess. I don't really do additional playthroughs of these games, usually. Lots of concept art here. Like a bunch of it, but it's slightly blurred out. Garmer. Big wolf. The forward-facing head is just kind of a big wolf head. Unchanged. Let's look at that. And the front-facing head is just big wolf. And then the side view is like, oh my god. Is he okay? He looks like his whole body might be a mouth. He's frothing, kind of looks split in half. He'll be fine. Haha. Grace's report. The truth behind Raccoon City. Hello. Introduction. In 1998, Raccoon City was devastated by a massive outbreak caused by a viral leak from the pharmaceutical giant Umbrella. The United States government responded by launching a missile strike to wipe out the infected and erected a blockade to seal off the city. In 2004, following a court trial, the Umbrella Corporation declared bankruptcy. A complete account of the events was never released. However, in October 2026, it was discovered that the city had been used as a hub for the production of trafficking of bioweapons. This report reveals that the established narrative of Raccoon City incident was falsified and elucidates newly discovered truths surrounding the incident. 1968. To properly understand the truth, we must first go back to the beginning of it all. In 1968, Oswell E. Spencer, James Marcus, and Edward Ashford founded the Umbrella Corporation. After having witnessed the horrors of the Second World War and the dread of the Cold War, Spencer felt a sense of despair at watching the world repeat the same mistakes. He felt it was his duty to bring about a change to humanity. Well, you fucked that up. As stated in court records following the Raccoon City incident, his ultimate goal was to bring about the viral evolution of the human race. Thus, he relentlessly pursued virus research through illegal and inhumane means. This fact remains unchanged. 1970s. From the very beginning of Umbrella, the company faced rapid change and intense internal strife, most notably the sharp ideological divide between Spencer and Marcus. According to court records, this conflict was cited as the primary factor leading to the unusual developments which followed. In 1978, James Marcus developed the T-virus, which would go on to become the cause of the subsequent outbreak. 1980s. This is a crucial period for the understanding the basis of what caused the incident and the truth behind the entire case. Spencer's influence and ARC's establishment. Spencer used internal politics to have Marcus demoted, absorbing T-virus research into a facility under his own control. From then on, Umbrella began to actively research and develop bioweapons under Spencer's leadership. The underground facility, known as ARC, which was discovered during recent events, originally served as the administrative center of Umbrella's research. Several documents outlining Spencer's plan for ARC have also been discovered. Why is there weird little arrows on the top of the bottom of the screen? Excerpt from confiscated records. Long-term strategic review, 1980-0422. So April 22nd, 1980 probably. ARC-centric integrated research roadmap. Step 1. Concentrated investment into Wesker's plan and the T-virus. Step 2. Establishment of ARC as a central command center. Step 3. Development of Elpis. Step 4. Memory transfer and forced evolution. This is the first recorded instance of a significant keyword, Elpis. So they were planning memory transfer all the way back in 1980. Okay, so they were working on that idea, and they thought it would work on her, or that shit was used on her, and they were wrong about that part. The connections involvement. The following documents regarding Marcus's involvement were also discovered. Excerpts from confiscated records. Receipt of donation, January 38th. No. 0138 is not a date. So it must be, anyway, sometime in 1986. Recipient, James Marcus. Sender, F Foundation. Amount, $30 million. This document shows a suspicious flow of funds being channeled to Marcus. Past FBI investigations revealed that the source of the funds, the F Foundation, was just one of the puppet organizations of the Connections. The F Foundation no longer exists. The Connections is a criminal organization that various government agencies have been sounding the alarm against for years. This illicit group is at the heart of all this. Evidence suggests that the Connections sought involvement with Umbrella's central operations. Additional documents belonging to the protege of Marcus, Brandon Bailey, have been uncovered. Excerpts from confiscated records, Telegraph Log 1988-0996. Sender Brandon Bailey. Recipient F Foundation. Preparations are complete. I think it's time they made contact with me directly, don't you? I await a response. This indicates that Bailey took over correspondence with the Connections, succeeding Marcus. Bailey was rumored to be the founder of the Connections, but he may have only been a small cog in a larger machine. We now believe the Connections has had deep roots in the criminal underworld since before the 1980s. Much about the Connections remains unknown. Spencer's Purge. In order for Spencer to obtain complete control over Umbrella, he used force to deal with any internal opposition and influential adversaries. A list of these individuals, seemingly prepared by an associate of Spencer's, was recently discovered. Excerpt from the confiscated records, reevaluation list. Following the CEO's reevaluation protocol, measures will be taken against these individuals: Cheryl Moore, Michael Kramer, James Marcus. The rest is omitted. 1990s. During this period, Umbrella continued to grow and expand through ties to the government. The organization became so large that Spencer could no longer fully control it. Numerous accidents plagued Umbrella facilities around the world as a result of poor management. Furthermore, information was being leaked to rival organizations and the Connections due to moles who had infiltrated the company. Yet despite the circumstances, Spencer was able to thoroughly protect and complete his research at ARC. The research, Elpis. While most records regarding Elpis were lost with the destruction of ARC, a precious few remain. Excerpt from confiscated records, Spencer's message 199, data missing. Tricell, HCF, the family, and Umbrella. Elpis shall bring it all to an end. The family. So Tricell's from previous games. HCF, I think, also is the family Resident Evil 7? Are they specifically referring to that? The only information leaked about Elpis was that it had the potential to upset the military balance of the entire world. However, a strictly managed password known only to Spencer was needed to access it. What is Elpis? Elpis is a powerful antiviral drug. However, this was unknown to those who sought it. The Connections and other black market groups mistakenly thought it to be a powerful bioweapon with the potential to corrupt human minds. This confusion likely stemmed from the fierce competition surrounding bioweapon development. It was common knowledge that Spencer, the developer of Elpis, aimed for the evolution and control of humanity through viral technology. Completion of Elpis. Based on data taken from the confiscated records and changes in Spencer's behavior, we believe Elpis was completed around the mid-1990s. After this period, the records show a marked decrease in the number of public statements from Spencer. A similar decrease in activity was also observed at the Raccoon City orphanage. Disturbingly, it is suspected that the children of the orphanage had long been used for Umbrella experimentation. While Spencer frequently visited the orphanage, records indicate he stopped in the 1990s. Furthermore, the orphanage was under the research jurisdiction of William Birkin in the late 90s. Birkin turned against Spencer, ultimately leading to the leak of the T-virus. 1998, the Raccoon City incident. The T-virus leaked from the Umbrella research facility in Raccoon City, causing an unprecedented outbreak. In response, the government decided to launch a missile strike on the city, under the pretense of containing the spread. However, this is where we have been misled. The missile strike was not launched to prevent the spread of infection. A plan was formed to disrupt the relation between the government and Umbrella, and shift the blame for all illegal activities onto Spencer. Found records indicate that the Connections lobbied for the missile strike. Excerpt from the confiscated records. Access log, first assembly minutes. ARC has been secured. Commence the missile strike. The blame will fall solely on Spencer. With this, Umbrella will be dismantled, and will seize their assets. Their goal was the acquisition of Umbrella assets, particularly the thing they believed would disrupt the world's military balance, Elpis. Due to Bailey's involvement, the Connections were aware of Umbrella's inner workings prior to the Raccoon City incident. This set them up to swiftly secure ARC before instructing the government to carry out the missile strike. After the Raccoon City incident, the Umbrella trials. As is well known, trials were held after the events of the Raccoon City incident. Testimony from Raccoon City survivors, along with evidence submitted by the Global Pharmaceutical Consortium, demonstrated the scope of Umbrella's nefarious activities. Evidence against Spencer was presented at the trials by his subordinate, Albert Wesker. It is now evident that Wesker was linked to Tricell, which in turn had strong ties to the connections. Therefore, it is highly likely there was pressure from the government and connections during the trials. In 2004, following the outcome of the trials, Umbrella was forced into bankruptcy. Just as the connections and the government intended, Oswald E. Spencer was held accountable as CEO, and he disappeared from the public eye. Acquisition of ARC. The connections and the government seized ARC during the Raccoon City incident. Thereafter, ARC served as a base for the research, development, and distribution of bioweapons. Documents believed to be transaction lists have also been seized. These list Umbrella's competitors, along with organizations that were previously found guilty of illegal activity. Unfortunately, most evidence was lost with the collapse of ARC. Recovery efforts continue but success is unlikely. Proliferation of bioterrorism. Following the Raccoon City incident, weaponized viruses developed by Umbrella were leaked. Subsequently, instances of bioterrorism utilizing this technology spread around the globe. In 2013, President Adam Benford was assassinated in a bioterrorist attack. Intelligence agencies report this is Resident Evil 6. President Evil, when he was a zombie president. Intelligence agencies report that the president wished to reveal the full truth of Raccoon City incident. It's possible that President Benford was privy to the facts revealed in this report. Spencer's final years. Remaining records about Spencer after the dissolution of Umbrella are scarce, but a new source of information has recently come to light. An interview conducted by Alyssa Ashcroft. Despite being responsible for countless atrocities, Spencer showed some signs of remorse in this interview. Having lost everything, he sought atonement. While Elpis is a powerful instrument that can render viral weapons inert, it also has the potential as a panacea to be used for good. Those are both good things, to be clear. It's possible that Spencer's true motivations beyond Elpis were peace and redemption. While he remained obsessed with the evolution of humanity throughout his later years, most testimonies describe him as nothing but a senile old man. Spencer died in 2006 at his secluded estate. His true intentions behind developing Elpis will forever remain unknown. So he died 8 years after Resident Evil 1 and 2 and 3, because those all took place at the same time. Not the same time. I think it's like there might be like 4 days to like a week or something. It's a few days between Resident Evil 1. 0 and 1 took place at the same time, then 2 and 3 took place at the same time, like within a week, because it's the outbreak. Conclusion. As we can see from the records, the Umbrella Corporation's liquidation was intentionally orchestrated by the connections and the US government. Furthermore, they were involved in the illegal development and trafficking of bioweapons in Raccoon City. The extent to which past and present governments were involved requires further investigation. Much about the connections remains shrouded in mystery, and most records of their involvement were destroyed alongside ARC. Countless lives have been lost. As government officials, we have a duty to pursue the truth. If anything, finding it will finally offer some closure to everyone who fell victim to these heinous actions. FBI intelligence analyst, Grace Ashcroft. That's idealistic. I'm like, the FBI is not really known for a history of truth, necessarily. But yeah, Grace's report's its own whole dedicated thing. Behind the scenes video, that's not for me to show here. So I think that's about it. Bonus settings? Here's where you can choose which costume to be wearing throughout the game. Got it. This is a fun detail, is that a lot of Resident Evil characters constantly change in appearance over the course of the story. I think Grace changed immediately. How long did Leon have his jacket on? He didn't. Yeah, he already didn't have his jacket on anymore when he was kidnapped, right? And then Grace has a jacket, but then she loses it when she's kidnapped. It's a funny through line here. Leon also loses his iconic jacket in Resident Evil 4 when he gets kidnapped. It's an interesting detail to me is that there's often like the iconic visual of like, that's what that character looks like. Remember Leon with his fuzzy brown jacket and everything? But then you actually play Resident Evil 4, which this came up because I forgot we did this, but we modded my Persona into the Resident Evil 4 remake, which was funny, but also some people hated it, but whatever, who cares? Life's short. I had to be like, oh god, fix it. Because Leon loses that jacket like immediately. That's a pretty long game. Like, it's one thing that he has both costumes over the course of the game. Like, actually, I think it's cool that their appearances change over the course of the games in a lot of these cases, because they go through shit. It is pretty funny that Leon, on the cover of the game, has this jacket, and so the game's so legendary that you get so used to the visual of Leon having that one jacket on the cover of Resident Evil 4, and so you imagine that's what he looks like in Resident Evil 4. You play like one mission of Resident Evil 4, and immediately the jacket is gone and never comes back. And they gave him a fuzzy jacket here a little bit too, a different one, and that one also goes away pretty quickly. I think it's already gone when he gets knocked out, so I think you have it on during the chainsaw fan service bit at the beginning of the game, but then when he gets locked in after helping with the girl, I think he then wakes up in the chair, not with the jacket not on anymore. And yeah, Grace has the jacket during her investigation at the beginning and then loses that when she gets kidnapped. It's really consistent, funnily enough. Huh. Funny details. Anyway, I've talked a lot about the design of this game. It's really interesting. They have a really complicated... It's a really convoluted franchise at this point. Mechanically, legacy, narratively, this one's trying to service a lot of things at once, which is why it has this funny difficulty setting of being like standard classic and standard modern. It's like, what does it even mean? Some people thought it was funny that like, when you get down to it, I think a commenter pointed out that like, aren't the modern Resident Evil games harder than the original ones, honestly? Because they just weren't that mechanically complicated back in the day. So like, Resident Evil 2 Remake is probably harder than the original Resident Evil 2 because of how much more demanding it seems to be with how bullet spongy the monsters are and how it's like really ratcheting up the difficulty around you having better controls and so on. So like calling it classic, the gamers that like that word assume harder is what it means, and I think the game also says that, but if you get down to it, you would assume that the modern difficulty would actually be harder than the classic difficulty. But this gets to a whole other mess, which is that they're being ranked as difficulties, which we think of that as difficulties being how tough everything is and how like dangerous the stuff is and how tough we are. But honestly, the idea that older games were harder, well, it's mixed. Like Ninja Gaiden's really fucked up and hard. Battletoads really fucked up and hard. But a lot of games were hard in the way that Dark Souls is hard, which is mostly that it's punishing. And the punishing has to do with more with like what is the consequence of failure? How likely is, like, difficulty is how likely failure is, and punishing is more like how much failure sets you back. Do you have to replay a bunch of stuff? Do you lose things from failure and so on, like losing your souls in Silksong and Dark Souls and having to get them back? And in that way, bringing back ink ribbons does make the game punishing again, because you then have to worry about losing a bunch of progress and everything. Yeah. But like, I don't know. I actually just got a comment just now when I'm recording this on Blue Sky. They said that they have heard that playing Classic makes the adaptive difficulty score go up by 1 notch compared to where it would be by default, basically. Which is its own other thing, which I don't totally know how adaptive difficulty works. Is it like a difficulty score that goes really high up and really low down, and it constantly shifts based on how you're doing? Maybe. In which case, maybe Classic, ignoring the definition of Classic and how it actually reflects the history of the franchise, if we just say Classic means harder plus ink ribbon, that is interesting to be like, okay, the adaptive difficulty is coordinated to be at this challenge level, and it'll shift a bit based on your gameplay, but it'll be it'll be calibrated to go 1 higher than normal regardless. That's one way to make a difficulty slightly harder, I guess. That's such a fucking unholdable concept. Like, you can't, like, how do I put it? You can't, I mean, you can't grasp it. It's like sand in your hands. Like you don't know what, like just playing the game on your own without getting into the code or some sort of weird theory crafting stuff or however the fuck people interpret this stuff. It'd be very hard to even interpret what the difficulty is on that level, but the idea that it's imperceptibly harder is, I guess, a way to do a difficulty thing. Because that's the thing, is like there's always been people pleasers. The Resident Evil franchise gestures at the idea of being chunky and frictional and mechanically intense. Like they gesture at the idea of having this like difficulty and resource management and so on, but they kind of never accomplish that, right? Like I've played enough of these to know that it's kind of an illusion. It's kind of a trick that I'm playing on myself. I'm entering the circle I'm entering the magic circle of play with this game and just kind of playing make-believe that the system's going to be really demanding and it's going to matter. But like you don't run out of resources in these games. I just always try to make the optimum choice because it feels good to try, and so I just try the whole time. It's almost a bit like how I've been playing Abiotic Factor with my friends, which is like a co-op survival it's a co-op survival crafting game that's inspired by Half-Life 1's setting, basically, and visual style and everything. And we have a fun little mod where we play as little hyena guys and so on. We're having a good time with it. But like there's a whole role in that game that's for cooking. And you gather items and you cook soups and whatnot. And then you can like communally feed all of your teammates and so on. And it's like a nice community thing, a nice bit of co-op. But also, you could just die. It's not a permadeath game. So like you could like jump off a cliff whenever you're hungry and then respawn and pick your items back up, and then your statuses are largely reset at that point. And if you did that, you will nullify the entire point of your party member that has chosen to be the chef for the party and is putting all this work in. And so it's like, if you're nice, you just kind of collectively choose not to actively exploit suicide in that game, and instead are like, yeah, let's eat the soup. And like it gives you a stat boost. It's not just refilling your hunger meter. There's benefits to eating the soup and whatnot, but it's like, yeah, everybody, don't be a dick. Eat the soup. And to some extent, it's like Resident Evil. It's like, don't be a dick. Care about the mechanics and think about them and engage with it and so on. Cat's meowing at me. Shut up. I'm petting your head. Stop making noises. There we go. No, you're still making noises. Stop it. You're distracting me. Andrew's cat. Shut up. But for people like me that enjoy that part of the game might adjust its difficulty as I go in order to like adapt to the fact that I'm trying harder and give me a different experience and kind of meet me where I am. But the adaptive difficulty has been there because they want to meet everyone where they are, and there are definitely types of gamers that just constantly run at the next objective and shoot everything that's in front of them and get hit a bunch and then hit heal whenever that it goes wrong, and they're not necessarily stealthing or evading attacks or making risk-reward decisions and not engaging with it on that level, and you want them to beat the game too. Which also might be why all the puzzles are really dumb things like Towers of Hanoi and the 3 jug puzzle, because they don't want to actually make you think too much and hit you with like a hard difficulty Silent Hill puzzle or something. But I've enjoyed the constant guessing game of like where the difficulty is and what's expected of me and what I can get away with and what resources there are. And I like fully exploring the map that's like a puzzle box and exploring like that in a way that's akin to like Metroidvanias or Dark Souls and so on, and unpacking that whole environment. That's a fun part of the experience. And so I look forward to games coming out, and each time they do, I always kind of hope that they'll be a cool exploration-y focused thing. And particularly, I remember 8 was less like that. I remember particularly just 8 when you go to fight Keanu Reeves, Nicolas Cage man. He's like both of them at once. You just fight a bunch of metal zombies, and I'm like, this is a slog. This level's a slog. It's going on for 100 years, and it's just a combat gauntlet, and I don't want to do it. It reminds me of fighting the bows in Jake's campaign of 6 to some extent, where I'm like, I don't love how Resident Evil feels as an action franchise usually. It can vary. So I like it when combat feels at least somewhat like it's a deterrent or it's the non-optimum route and there's like benefits to avoiding it and so on. But that's a whole other thing. We've had versions of this happen also in like Metal Gear Solid where 5 was kind of... People liked it at the time. I don't know how popular it is now, but like 5 was like very much meant to be like everybody's playstyle wins kind of game. And I don't know if that's like as cool as the other styles of difficulty. I don't think Metal Gear Solid has an adaptive difficulty, so I think it is like you do have to earn it, and the game is kind of in a static place where you have to play it the one way it is. But yeah, Resident Evil has for a long time, or maybe always even, at least since I think they had it all the way back in the Resident Evil 1 remake at least, has been kind of like shifting its difficulty to react to you, which is interesting. Because yeah, if you're playing it as intended and taking it seriously and agreeing not to exploit that, then you're being rewarded by a game that you could see it as almost like an accessibility feature that the game will try to find where to meet you difficulty-wise to challenge you no matter what, potentially. Like that's kind of cool as a concept. But if you know if you're too aware that it's there and you just play as dumbly as possible because you know you can use it as a net that you'll fall on, it's a safety net, then you do just enjoy, you just kind of ruin the experience for yourself by being given the "oh, this guy's an idiot" difficulty when you're capable of more, unless that's what you want, is to make it a casual difficulty and so on. Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely something to be said about it being an accessibility feature to have the difficulty shift based on how the player's doing to some extent. Lord knows we won't do it ourselves. If you say like, if you give us a prompt like, oh, "You've been dying a lot, you want to play on baby difficulty?" People are like, "No!" And to some extent I do want to defeat the thing as expected. But it is interesting to think like, yeah, if your goal is just to be challenging, easier difficulties, like the idea of an easy mode in Dark Souls is dangerous because a lot of stuff just has such specific breakpoints and designs that if it were shifted slightly and everything was 10% easier, suddenly a lot of stuff is monstrously easier. Like this, it's some difficulty changes can be exponential because it's the exact spot stuff is in can matter a lot. But when somebody's not as tuned in, then they're having a much worse experience potentially. And there will always be people that are still just too good, and they're not going to get the intended experience of the challenge because they're too good at it. So having stuff shift on its own is interesting. But I cannot say that the difficulty conversation's that easy still, because on some level it always feels bad to know at all that the game's cheating for you. Like I think about how like I joined my friend Marty's raiding guild in World of Warcraft for one expansion, and I just did the 3 raids that came out over the course of that expansion with them, and then gave it a rest when that was over, just to experience it again for the first time since Burning Crusade. I did it for Shadowlands, I think it was called, the one with the jailer being the final boss of the final raid, and there's the vampire raid and so on. And like we got stuck on the jailer for months, it felt like. And then they had a patch that adjusted the difficulty of the jailer. And then in the next raid, I think we immediately won on our first try. And it's like, we won on our first try in part because we'd been doing that raid for weeks at least. And so we got a lot of practice in, and we had a bunch of strategies and tactics and so on. But the fact that we won immediately after it was nerfed means that like, oh, we never overcame the challenge that was previously beating us. And now we never will, because that challenge doesn't exist anymore, because we instead defeated this slightly weaker version of the boss that plays differently, and like that's frustrating to know. So it's hard to say. The real answer in a lot of the cases of why games like this can feel good for so many people is that they gesture the idea that you're changing difficulty, but the real difficulty happening beneath the surface, the adaptive difficulty, they just don't tell you. Like you gotta use some arcane nonsense to learn the actual answers, because the game will not tell you what your actual difficulty is. It's like your invisible credit score. Like it's something that if it was serviced to the players, then players would have opinions about it, and instead they're like, let's just not give the player opinions on it and not let them feel judged or like they're shit or cool based on it by just not telling them at all. I could be wrong, but I think adaptive difficulty scores have never been exposed in the games by the game on purpose in any accessible way. I think people have like figured them out behind the scenes on some level, but that's it. Anyway, I'm just rambling about shit. I would like to edit all of this now. Oh god, I binged the shit out of this the weekend it came out, if you're wondering. It is currently Monday. This last session of like 4 episodes or whatever I set out to do here on Monday because I just couldn't make it. It was so long compared to the time I had that I was like, oh wow, it's still going. I guess I'll be wrapping it up on Monday morning, but I wrapped this up the Monday after it came out, and the first 4 episodes recorded the night it came out because midnight release means 9 p.m. in California. That's always helpful for me. I'm like, damn, I'm not even tired yet. That's cool. Looking forward to future Resident Evils like always. We're in a good era. 6 was pretty bad. It's like somewhat fun as a popcorn co-op game where you don't pay too much attention to it, but it's honestly not very good as co-op either. Like there's so many actually good co-op games you could play, but everything since then has been really solid for a long time now. And I think, yeah, Resident Evil 7 was 2017, so now we've had like a solid decade of really good Resident Evil games, which has been a cool shift to see. And yeah, in the meantime, I'll probably go back and play a few more of those games that I haven't gotten around to, and one day I'll have completed the franchise, which itself has been a decade-long project, I guess. Thanks for watching like always, guys. If you want to support the channel, you can support me on Patreon. For $5 a month, you get early access to whatever stuff I'm recording right now, which means that when you started watching the series, you could have binged ahead for hours, and within like maybe a week or so, I probably had the whole thing up, and you could have watched all the way to the ending pretty quickly, probably like fully a month before the actual ending came out publicly. That kind of stuff helps me stay alive because YouTube doesn't pay very much, so the vast majority of my income comes from YouTube memberships and Patreon. Both of those platforms for the same price, hopefully. There's payment processor stuff, so who knows. But that $5 tier gives you access to early access videos on both Patreon and YouTube memberships. YouTube is a bit better for you sometimes in that the videos are right here on YouTube, so it's like more user-friendly as a service to just pay through YouTube and then get access to YouTube videos. Patreon is a bit better in a few ways for me in that it gives me a higher percentage of the overall money. They take less of a cut, and you get access to sometimes a few features that are harder to implement on YouTube. I'm trying to do the vote that we do every quarter for what game I play on both, but I only let Patreon people nominate games on the $15 tier. I haven't really tried to make a nomination tier on YouTube because it would be kind of outside of the guidelines for how YouTube membership tiers work. And if I'd make any video essay style perks and updates and so on, or work in progress things or so on, those are probably only going to be on Patreon because they don't really have a specific home here on the Let's Play channel. That's the other struggle, is that on YouTube membership that is a special tier for a specific YouTube channel because it's tied to that exact channel. So I only have memberships turned on the Let's Play channel, but I might have things to show related to the other channels, and so those might only go on Patreon in some cases. So, you know, there's a bit of a fucking 2007 video games pre-order bonus spreadsheet going on there. But either way, any form of support helps this whole thing keep going and helps me pay rent and food and afford the video games, and when I'm doing well, pay artists to make thumbnails and other stuff like that. And if I grow, maybe having more access to like different sorts of facilities or transportation for collaborations, or who knows what kind of things could happen in the long term. I'm just rambling at this point. Thanks for watching like always, guys, and I will see you next time.